Hello and welcome to the show. I'm here on the crew having another go at driving some cars up the Pikes Peak rally course. The first vehicle today is the Chevrolet Silverado with the most pointless of wings. I mean, the Hummer's wing is spectacular. This one is just... Why? Why is it behind the cab and not at the back? I don't see the point in that. Surely if that was creating downforce, it's pushing down the middle of the truck. Wouldn't you want it on the back? I don't know. It's a silly wing. It's a very silly wing. The headlights are incredibly bright. I'm doing this at night just because day and night cycle takes so long to bloody change. I can't be bothered to wait anymore. So yeah, we're going over it. It's not that particularly dark. We have got a blower thing on the bonnet. It's a pretty, again, it's another ridiculous vehicle. This one, I think, slightly less ridiculous than the Hummer, but still pretty crazy. Now, as ever, with these cars, to keep everything as fair and as even as possible, these vehicles are all basic level 40 cars. This is a performance spec vehicle. If we go into the car tuner, you can see basic level 40 car. It has 871 horsepower, even more, 958 torque. That's a lot of torque. Weighs 3,600 pounds, which, considering the size of this vehicle, that's pretty good going. That's pretty damn good going. It does not quite have the stability of the Hummer, however. So I'm not sure it will go as quick. It is much lighter, but I'm not sure it will go as quick up the hill as the Hummer, but we're going to give it a go. Again, same as last time. The cars are given one attempt at this, so I've got to not balls it up. Right. To the first person, that wing is honestly the stupid. I think it's the strangest position wing. Oop, that's the wrong button. That was not handbrake. Apparently, I pressed nitro instead. Whoopsie, back that up. There we go. And of course, on the run, we're not allowed to use nitro either, just to keep everything fair between all the cars. Right, let's not have it in reverse. There's a first gear, and let's see how the Silverado does. Now, I love the fact that the crew has put some of these vehicles in, I wouldn't say, well, a slightly wrong class perhaps. You can have a Silverado or you can have a Hummer in performance spec, and you can race them against, I've raced this against a Ferrari and I beat it, only just, but I did beat it. And I love the fact that the game allows you to do that, that it gives you the tools. I know it's very unrealistic. I don't think however much money you put into tuning a Silverado, would it ever beat a Ferrari over the course of a circuit race, which is what we were doing. Maybe in a drag race I could see it doing it, but over the course of a winding circuit race, it shouldn't. But just the fact that you can, it gives you that option to mess around, and it looks absolutely ridiculous. And that's also why I got this car in purple as well, just to keep up with the ridiculous look at the vehicle. Yeah, I love the wacky stuff you can do with cars. But it drives pretty nicely. I'm assuming it's another four-wheel drive vehicle. I don't remember ever checking, actually. I'm assuming it is. It has pretty good traction. I'm not gonna, as I said, not gonna use nitro. But if you do go on the nitro, it's not as nice as the Hummer. It will slide. There you go. You can see it will slide around a bit more, this vehicle. It's good on traction. It's better than a lot of vehicles. I mean, I'm not that worried about the bumps on the way up here. Not in the same way that I was with the circuit hot rod. Like that thing, you were just terrified of going near any rough terrain, really, with that car. But with this thing, it's pretty solid. It's pretty solid up here. And being a little bit lighter than the Hummer, at times it can be a bit more agile. I mean, it's still a huge... I think it's probably longer than the Hummer, to be honest. It's a ridiculously large vehicle, sort of overall, but that little bit less weight. I don't think it's quite as wide as the Hummer either. It's just that little bit more agile. It's kind of a good compromise, really. You don't quite have all of the benefits of the extra weight, but of course then you don't have all of the downsides. I'll play that a bit. I'm going to crash on those rocks at some point. I know I'm going to. Ooh, hello, hello wildlife. Please don't be any cars around this final. We've had a nice clean run with no traffic on it, and heading up towards the line now. Yeah, it's a good compromise. Ooh, we hit the bump on the inside, past the finish line. That was a bit... I nearly pulled that up right at the end there. Yeah, the Silverado is a good compromise between the Hummer and other performance cars. You get more stability than most, but you lose out on some of the stability of the Hummer. The nitro is not as effective in here, but it is quite agile, and it was pretty damn easy to drive up that hill. It was a pretty straightforward car to drive up Pikes Peak. Had no real major issues with it, and you can have a ludicrous wing on it, which is always a good thing for any vehicle, I think. Okay, vehicle number 2. We've got the Ferrari 458 Italia Special. This is a car, if you get the season pass, that is where you get this car from. It's got another fantastic rear wing, not quite as ridiculously positioned as the Silverados. It might even be very, very similar. It's just a table. There is a table on the on the back of my Ferrari. Yeah, again, more silly stuff you can put on the car. I do like the 458. I say that I don't like the silly front flappy bits. They always look weird. I know the purpose of them. I just don't like them. But this one here, I don't think it has that on it. So yeah, I quite like the. There's something about Ferraris that you can't help but like. It's really hard to explain what it is. Ferraris, Lamborghinis, Zondas, it's all the same thing. You just can't help but like them. I think it's just Italian cars in general. Again, another basic level 40 car. We go over here. It's not as powerful as the Silverado. Hasn't got as much torque, but it is a fair bit lighter. It's only £1,000 lighter, which, considering the Italian supercar, an American pickup truck, that's not a massive difference. But this is a much more, shall we say, appropriate vehicle for running up the Pikes Peak course. I am concerned. Well, I say concerned. I am slightly worried about traction. I haven't driven this car a huge amount. I've driven it a little bit. I do quite like it. The traction is the main concern with this. Spinning the wheels over some of the bumps could be a problem. I'm hoping it isn't. We will find. We will find out though. I'm hoping it isn't too utterly terrifying. Now, I'm going to assume that this car here is going to be a faster sort of straight line speed vehicle, if you like. I'm going to hazard a guess it's probably going to be quicker accelerating than the Silverado, and to have the cars at the same performance on here, they tend to offset it with kind of sort of traction, if you like. So yeah, that is my small concern. I drove through a Fox thing, and then we got a big slide on. Yeah, this is already. You can already see I'm fighting it more over the bumps around here. Whoa, and that just hit a. I don't even know what that hit. That was just the diffuser on the front, the splitter on the front, and just brushed a bit of dirt and threw the car up. You can see the sparks flying off the front of this car. Well, you kind of can't quite see the actual sparks, but you can see the lighting. You get a big slide again. Oh, it's not liking the bumps. The Ferrari is really not liking the bumps. I don't actually think we'd have that much of a problem with cars with that with them doing that. I guess we do. I drove my 8C. I have a modified 8C that I practiced a bit on this course, and that didn't have as much of a problem as this Ferrari does. That is a new concern. It's actually been pretty good on the traction. I mean, it's had a couple of slides, as to be expected from a rear-wheel drive supercar, but it's actually been very good. Like, I am flat out. I'm not like with the circuit hot rod. I was constantly. I don't think I was barely on full throttle the entire time. Just constantly worrying about power delivery. This, I'm flat out all the way up here. It's rough. It's fairly rough going in places, but I can be flat out. I've got to be really careful with those little bits of dirt and stuff that are on the edge of the course. Yeah, again, I'm flat out all the way up here, and it's absolutely fine with that. It's not spinning the wheels up. It's not quite as planted as the Silverado or the Hummer for that matter. But it is quite good. It is quite as well. I'm surprised by a 458 being good, but no, it's got an awful lot of traction coming up here. It's not as terrifying as I thought. It's the bumps that are scary, and the slight jump there. Yeah, sure enough, we're going to scrape the floor. Got that corner a tiny bit wrong. Just about get away with it. A little bit slow through there, I will admit. As of this next one, are we going to have any traffic? We are going to have a pickup truck, but it's not too bad. A little bit wide through there. I don't know why the traffic only spawns on two corners. Can we go down another gear across the line in the Ferrari. The front splitter will not be very happy with that run. It's not even got a splitter. The front bumper would have been torn to shreds by that particular run. But it was, again, another car that wasn't too bad. I'm quite impressed with that Ferrari, actually, having got up that course without any without any major issues. Yeah, definitely the bumps are a big concern with with this car. It's scraping the floor so much through there. Oh, there's a raid car has shot off. Yeah, the bumps are definitely a concern, but the traction was good, and that was one of the things that can be a real issue with cars on here. So yeah, the 458, pretty damn fast. And our final vehicle today, it is the Dodge Viper. Of course I was going to use this fairly quickly. As people well know, I am a very big fan of the Viper, and I've got a circuit spec one here. The other two cars have run a performance specs. This one is a circuit spec vehicle. It looks very much like the Viper competition coupe. It's effectively just that. Again, another standard level 40 car. We'll go and have a quick look. Statistics. 600 horsepower, so it's about the same power as the Ferrari, has a bit more torque, or a couple hundred more torque than the Ferrari, weighs a little bit more, but not that much more than the Ferrari. This could be very quick. It could also struggle. It is possible it is the circuit cars that dislike the bumps more than the performance vehicles, which is why the hot rod was terrible. So yeah, that could be a slight concern. Driving around up this mountain, although the hot rod is terrible for traction. I modified the hot rod to all platinum parts and stuff. I pressed the wrong button, my bad. I will remember the buttons. Yeah, and that has real problems. So maybe the Ferrari, the Viper, sorry. I know my cars, honestly. Won't be too bad at this. Visibility, oh, there goes the diffuser. Visibility in this car is slightly better than the hot rod. It's still not great. The Viper has still not got the best sort of, yeah, the best visibility. How do we fare then through these first couple of corners? We're not too bad. We're not too bad through here. Yeah, look at it go. We haven't had terrifying wheel spin moments yet. The sun is also coming up, which is nice. Hello, officer. Don't mind me, just doing a time trial here. It's fine. Ooh, okay, a little bit. Again, it got a little bit slidey through there. I might just keep it in fourth for that particular bit and not risk changing down a gear. I hear the clonk of the splitter, but already it's not. Oh, it's gonna. I think it brushed slightly on the floor. It's not clonking around as much as the Ferrari, which is not what I would have thought the circuit cars would have more. Never mind. Okay, it seems that not. We've actually. This is really very nice to drive. We've got, look at this. I mean, I'm being brave here. I'm flooring it over these bumps and out of these corners, and the Viper is doing very, very well. That's not what I thought. I thought I would be fighting this car a lot more. I thought the circuit cars were going to be a bit of a pain up here. The Viper is doing incredibly well. There's a lot of grip. I mean, in general, the cars on here, yes, they have quite a lot of grip. You can really chuck them around in the corners, yes. But it's normally the sort of the wheel spinning and stuff that causes problems. As I've said plenty of times about this game. But this is almost as good as the Hummer for traction. What's going on? More wildlife on the course. What? That's not the outcome that I expect. I found a very good car. It's normally the four-wheel drive vehicles, the Lamborghinis, that I see dominating in the circuit class racing and stuff. I think the Viper would be a very viable option. I honestly do. Having not had to be gentle with this car in any way, shape or form, the Viper, oh, that's a big airtime. But even with getting airtime over that jump, it landed and was perfectly controllable. And again, through these next corners, we can fly through here with some decent speed. Ooh, there is a car. I'm never quite sure, turning into that corner, if we're going to suddenly find a car there. And we'll race up across the line. That was a surprise. That was a real surprise from the Viper there. That was really nice. This is perhaps the easiest car I've had to drive up the course. The front didn't scrape on the floor. Aside from the very start, where we smacked the splitter on the floor, it didn't bounce around as much as the Ferrari. It had huge amounts of grip. Yeah, you can see, yes, it's got slick tyres. The hot rod had that, and it still span its wheels up. Having slicks and road tyres doesn't seem to make a huge amount of difference, to be perfectly honest. That's not the outcome I expected. I really thought I'd be fighting the Viper a lot more going up that hill, but apparently not. The Dodge Viper, very, very quick, very nice to drive up the mountain. Ferrari, a little bit more of a fight, still pretty good. In fact, actually, this is better than the Silverado as well. So, yeah, Well, say a Viper better than the Silverado is not that surprising, but in the context of the crew, I didn't think it would be as good as it was over the bumps. On to the times, and it is the Viper that tops the table, going quite a bit quicker than everything else with a 2 minutes 24.3. I'm not hugely shocked by that, seeing as how easy to drive that vehicle was. Yeah, the Viper, very, very good car. The Silverado, though, goes into second, beating both the Hot Rod and the Hummer with a fairly impressive time as well, at 2:27.8, while the Ferrari really struggled. 2:35.9. I think it has to be the bumps. I was amazed to see how much slower the Ferrari was, because I didn't have any big sort of sideways moments that lost me huge amounts of time. I didn't notice anywhere that was like really slow corner somewhere. I think it was just those bumps, the scraping on the floor, just losing time here, little bits of time here and there on them, that caused the Ferrari problems, because it wasn't horrendous. It was easier to drive than the circuit Hot Rod, but it's 6 seconds slower. Yeah, the Ferrari struggled. The Ferrari really struggled coming up the mountain. But that is it for this video, guys. So thank you very much for watching, and until next time, goodbye.